of Taiwan, I'm Eric Gao, bringing you the latest news from here in Taipei. Amid rising tensions across the Taiwan Strait, an annual city-level forum between Taiwan and China appears to have stalled. Several Taipei city officials were set to head to Shanghai on Thursday, but the city government has now announced that this trip won't be going ahead. Our reporter Cadence Caranta has been following this story and she joins us live. Cadence, what's been happening with this?
Yeah, so this is a very significant event that was supposed to happen this week in Shanghai, but the Taipei city government actually just announced that it would be postponed. They said it's because they needed more preparation time, especially because some of the agreements that they were supposed to sign with Shanghai involved a lot of different agencies that needed to weigh in on the meeting.
那大家知道，这个磋商是包括台北市要跟中央部会，还有跟上海方，不一定是陆委会。然后另外，单分论坛的部分也是有些细节呢，我们都觉得还不够的完备了。
And just to give some background, this is an annual meeting between the city governments of Taipei and Shanghai that started in 2010. They usually talk about some city-level issues like trade, tourism, and cultural exchanges, and sign some agreements. But really what makes this meeting so significant is that amid cross-strait tensions, it's one of the few remaining platforms for government-to-government communication between Taiwan and China at any level. China cut off all contact with Taiwan's central government in 2016 when Tsai Ing-wen was president because she would not endorse the idea that Taiwan and the mainland are part of one China.
And Cadence, what have people been saying about this sudden change of plan?
So this sudden announcement seems to have taken the government by surprise. The Mainland Affairs Council, which handles relations with China and is also involved in preparing for this forum, said that it thought that everyone had reached at least a preliminary consensus last week on some of these agreements.
我们其实是到上个礼拜五，大家都应该已经初步都达成共识了。那本来想说应该会很顺利。 但是我们也很意外，说今天北市府是会突然说，先暂时停止，对我们也是相当意外。
And a cross-strait relations expert that I actually talked to this morning says it's unlikely that preparation issues are the main reason why the Taipei city government decided to suspend the forum, because the forum happens every year and it's relatively routine, so that means that the planning is also relatively routine. It's worth noting that this comes during a period of heightened cross-strait tensions, and it also comes after the Mainland Affairs Council called on the two sides last week not to discuss any national-level issues like tourism, which have been discussed in the past. But there is still a lot of questions right now. It seems like the central government doesn't even really know what's going on. So we also don't know when the forum is going to be postponed to. The Taipei city government hasn't really given us any details about that as well. So we'll just have to wait and see about some of these details.
Thanks, Cadence. That was Cadence Caranta, live from our newsroom here in Taipei. A bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers have met with Chinese Premier Li Qiang in Beijing.
中美呢是这个世界上两大最重要的经济体，我们加强交流合作，不仅是有利于两国，也对世界有很大的影响。
Li's remarks come after Presidents Donald Trump and Xi Jinping spoke by phone last Friday about tariffs, semiconductor restrictions, tensions in the South China Sea, and Taiwan. The U.S. lawmakers emphasized the need to improve military cooperation between the two countries.
I'm deeply concerned that our two militaries don't communicate more. They're powerful and influential in many parts of the world. We need to be talking more about how we're going to do that side by side in a way that doesn't create conflict.
This visit is the first by members of the U.S. House of Representatives to China since 2019, and is part of efforts to improve strained ties. Trade talks between the U.S. and its allies are underway as they try to find a deal that works for everyone. Still, South Korea and India's leaders are finding negotiations tricky. Tifty Wong has more.
Months after the U.S. agreed to lower tariffs on South Korea, President Lee Jae-myung hints that deal may be off, warning that cutting rates from 25% to 15% on South Korean goods in exchange for $350 billion in investment could harm the country's economy.
Without a currency swap, if we withdrew $350 billion in the manner that the U.S. is demanding and invested all this cash in the U.S., South Korea would face another financial crisis.
In an exclusive interview with Reuters, Lee warned that a bad deal could result in a meltdown similar to the 1997 Asian financial crisis. South Korea has been working to maintain its relationship with the U.S. after a change in leadership over the past year. Both its economic and military alliances are being tested.
Our government and I personally see the need to increase defense spending and defense self-reliance. We are already planning additional investments. Therefore, we do not think it desirable for the U.S. to unilaterally shoulder losses for peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. There appears to be little conflict on that issue.
In dealing with regional tensions, Lee also said that peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait was important. The U.S., Taipei's biggest backer, has been urging it to increase defense spending against China, which threatens to take Taiwan by force if necessary. Meanwhile, in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged citizens to help the country deal with U.S. tariffs by buying Indian-made goods.
This reform will accelerate the growth story of India, make business easier, make investment attractive, and will make every state equal in the path to development.
Trump doubled tariffs on Indian goods to 50% in retaliation for the Southeast Asian ally buying Russian oil and weapons. An unofficial boycott on American brands like McDonald's, Pepsi, and Apple is underway in the country. Amid tariff tensions and quickly shifting policy, the U.S.'s allies are now looking at self-reliance as both a tool for negotiation and a safety net for their own security, economic and otherwise. Devin Tsai and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
The UK and 3 other countries have officially recognized a Palestinian state.
Today, to revive the hope of peace and a two-state solution, I state clearly, as Prime Minister of this great country, that the United Kingdom formally recognizes the state of Palestine.
Canada, Australia, and Portugal also recognize Palestine. French President Emmanuel Macron says that he plans to make a declaration ahead of this week's UN meeting. The Palestinian Authority says the recognition is a meaningful step towards a two-state solution. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says countries that recognize Palestine are supporting terrorism.
I have a clear message for those leaders who recognize a Palestinian state after the horrific massacre on October 7th. You are giving a huge reward to terrorism. And I have another message for you. It will not happen.
A UN commission last week said Israel has committed genocide in Gaza. It comes amid reports of widespread starvation and malnutrition there as the war approaches 2 years. Taiwan has canceled dozens of domestic flights as the strongest storm of this season passes by. Typhoon Ragasa is sweeping through waters southeast of Taiwan. Weather officials say it will be closest to Taiwan's main island from Monday afternoon through Tuesday morning. While Taiwan would avoid a direct hit, officials in China's southern province of Guangdong are urging residents to prepare for catastrophic winds and rain. Hong Kong International Airport is weighing a 36-hour suspension of all passenger flights, the longest in recent years. Matcha lovers may have to rein in their thirst for the famous Japanese drink. As Irene Lin reports, tea farmers in Japan and China are having a hard time meeting soaring demand, while extreme heat and tariffs drive up the price.
A bitter, rich tea drink enjoyed all year round around the world, Japanese matcha has attracted some loyal fans and creative minds in the culinary world. The traditional stone-milled green tea has been integrated into a variety of lattes, sweets, and baked goods. But now, it comes with a higher price tag. In the U.S., which consumes about a third of all matcha every year, some customers are feeling the pinch.
I have matcha every morning. It's actually my go-to drink. It's kind of how I start the day. What have I noticed about the pricing? It's definitely started to go up, especially if you want to maintain the quality.
Serving matcha every day, cafes and tea shops in the U.S. say the price hike has come as a shock.
So the price has skyrocketed. Yeah, for us it's more than doubled, and we weren't expecting that at all. Our matcha drinks, we sell them in the hundreds every day, and we go through many hundreds of kilograms every month or two. So it's a lot of matcha.
While matcha green tea growers may be glad to see a boom in popularity, many are struggling to meet the global demand. In Japan, crops have dwindled due to recent heat waves and aging farmers.
It's a real delight for tea producers that Japan's matcha is drawing such attention. I'm glad the world is taking an interest in our matcha, but it's been overwhelming. In the short term, almost a threat. We just can't keep up.
On top of that, the U.S. has placed a 15% tariff on Japanese goods, adding to these businesses' concerns.
It's this perfect storm or imperfect storm of tariffs, which are unrelated to the fact that we're having such a high demand and such an increase in prices already. So it's unfortunate timing, obviously. And, we have to make some hard decisions of, what pricing is going to look like. There's limits, obviously. We can't just, continue to raise prices forever.
As the supply of this delicate powder green tea drops and its price stays high, it raises the question of how much longer it will dominate people's drink orders. Patrick Chen and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Fiber from Taiwan's banana orchards could soon give the world's apparel makers an eco-friendly substitute for materials that cannot biodegrade. At least that's what one entrepreneur from Central Taiwan hopes. The idea is to use waste from banana harvest to create a new Taiwanese export. John Van Trieste has the story.
Nelson Yang watches closely as the workers at his Central Taiwan factory process what he hopes will be Taiwan's next hit export. It's not a new computer chip or some breakthrough electronics. Instead, it's a humble product of local farms, the banana tree, carefully processed into just the kind of natural, sustainable fiber that international shoe and clothing brands have a growing hunger for. Since at least 2008, European sneaker brands have been seeking out materials just like this one, perfect for blending with cotton into yarn, or for shaping into vegan leather. The banana fibers come from the same fields that provide food, and best of all, they're biodegradable.
我们希望未来可以做到一整双鞋子都是天然的材料，就是木质纤维素或一些植物性蛋白或动物性蛋白出来的一整双鞋子。因为这种鞋子呢，你要去做掩埋，它会完全转换成葡萄糖，然后变成植物的养分。对，这是我们的终极目标。
Taiwan has good conditions for growing bananas and was once a major exporter, even called a banana kingdom. Even today, the country grows several 100,000 tons of the fruit each year. This banana fiber project uses parts of the banana tree that would normally be left to rot, as one of Nelson Yang's collaborators explains.
它就是香蕉，像树木中间这一段，它的最主要的功能就是养分跟水分的运输。那我们采收之后，这一段也是没有用。那刚好这一块里面是可以取到的纤维树木，是可以让这个杨先生他们来运用在纺织业里面的纤维的添加，所以我们的合作是从这里开始。
The company is still in something of a startup mode. Despite years of interest in just this kind of eco-friendly fiber, no apparel companies have placed an order with the factory. Those in Taiwan's textile trade have faith, though, that with enough work, banana fiber will find its market.
我们的建议是，它可以建立自己香蕉丝的一个规格标准，还有它也要确立它自己的品质的一致性，还有像是提供一些量化的数据，只要补强这一些，就可以争取更多的品牌的信任跟采用，也可以成为我们台湾在生殖纤维的新亮点。
The hope is that one of Taiwan's abundant resources can start to replace plastics and synthetic fibers, easing the apparel industry's environmental footprint in an ever eco-conscious age. Devin Tsai and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
And thank you for joining us here for What's Up Taiwan. I'm Eric Gao. Take care, and we'll see you next time.